Anime Legends. Now guys, if you remember about 9 or 10 months ago, I made a video about Anime Legends, exposing them. And in that video, we went in depth about the history of Anime Legends, the games that they were producing instead of Anime Legends, and what they could do to compensate the community. And literally only 24 hours after making the video, Bloxzone did make an open stated announcement, as I said that they should probably do within the video. Literally. Now, whether or not that was because of my video, which it most likely was because they didn't speak for damn near 2 years, or not, doesn't really matter. The fact is, they've reached out to the community finally and openly stated something, as they should have. And about 2 weeks ago, they did put out the Anime Legends trailer, the second trailer that is. And most people saw this trailer a little bit concerned because it looked like a scaled down version of the original trailer that they put out 2 years ago. And with this, a whole bunch of concerning things can be said or drawn out of the new trailer. And not only that, shortly after the new trailer's release, they also announced a game that was not Anime Legends. Anime Fighting Simulator 2? I don't really know. However, my guess is that they put this second trailer out just so that they could promote or help promote the new game that they're making. And to even rub salt on the wound even harder, they didn't even give us a release date, a time frame, a time zone of when Anime Legends is going to come out. So once again, just like before, we're kind of in the dark. Now, it's obviously not going to come out this year, especially if they didn't give us a time frame, and it will probably come out next year. It is hard to say because after the original trailer, we went 2 years just to get another trailer, and the trailer was good, but it was a scaled down version of what we saw originally. In today's video, my good friend Techie OP goes into depth about the conspiracy behind Anime Legends release. And I am genuinely curious and I want to see what he has to say because people aren't hyped for Anime Legends anymore. Yes, the trailer was refreshing to see. However, it was kind of upsetting to say the least that we got in 2 years with nothing. And then when they finally come out the woodworks, we just got a trailer with no real updates behind it again. So we're on Techie's OP channel. Hit the sub button if you haven't hit it for Techie, and hit it for me as well. Y'all hit the sub button for me. We're almost at 90K. Yes sir. And let's get into this.
The conspiracy behind Anime Legends release. Anime Legends has finally been confirmed to be still in development, but there are some speculations as to what is exactly going on with the game and when it might be releasing. Don't forget to like, subscribe now. Oh, I almost forgot. If you're super into PvP and the most popular Roblox anime games and want to win actual prizes for winning
y'all still type so there
hosted tourneys, join the Above All League Discord, where you can compete against top PvP players in various games to climb a top 10
that was me.
ranking
Look, that was
system.
me. I'm
Join
not even
now
gonna
to
pause.
learn more. Link in the description and pinned comment. As we all know, Anime Legends initially was announced back in the summer of 2021. It's now 2 years ago. We got a few announcements, including the showcases of the environments, combat, and bosses, which of course got people really excited since around that time it looked really good.
And
but
it did.
after we got those few announcements, we really didn't hear much about the game besides a Christmas tree and some water physics. This
Bro, I never understood why they put the Christmas tree there. It was so disrespectful.
It's got people speculating whether the game was a fake promotional setup for Bloxzone, and the entire initial teasers were actually fake. Here's my assumption. I believe that the first initial Anime Legends was indeed used as promotion for another game that released later, but I don't believe that Anime Legends was fake. But
video.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell them something. Anime Legends dropped the trailer. It was only like 6 months afterwards they started making the combat system. You guys were lied to.
No shot.
It's like
You guys
those
were
mobile
lied.
ads.
It
It
is
was
like
straight up.
that's literally
I'm
just like
telling
the
you,
mobile ads.
Most of those things that you saw in the trailer wasn't actually worked on. It was straight up just effects.
So they said
Animated
they
shit.
just made the trailer to create hype, and the
Yeah,
game was
to
based
create
on
hype, and then and listen, and afterwards they drop Anime Warriors to make money because
I knew it.
They're not working for percentage. They're working.
let me explain. Does anyone remember Anime Warriors, the game that was also made by Bloxzone?
The game that I warned you guys would fail horribly because the marketing behind it was terrible and they used a different game as another game's come up, which was already just throwing stones in the faces of the consumers. Yeah, I remember it.
Yes, I am aware that they are two different dev teams, but they still work for Bloxzone. So yeah, don't rip my head off in the comments, please. Anime Warriors was released very shortly after the initial Anime Legends announcement. We also know that around this time, Anime Fighting Simulator was still being developed, but would eventually be discontinued. But back to Anime Warriors. Anime Warriors was at first a PvE based game where you would roll for units, and then you would go into a mode where you would fight waves of enemies. If we were being honest here, the game wasn't really that good, and it was pretty boring since you would repeatedly do the same thing over and over again, and the gameplay really wasn't that fun, intuitive.
Bro's mixing clips of the old version of Anime Warriors or the new version. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it?
The game with that many updates
doesn't really
matter.
This
will cause the game to drop in players rapidly. My assumption is that Anime Warriors really wasn't even supposed to be a fully supported game. I believe that the game was just made in order to fund the initial Anime Legends. This is why Anime Warriors was built on a gacha system, so that people would buy gems, and then this revenue would go towards the development of Anime Legends. But unfortunately, the game ended up dying very quickly, but I think it made just enough money for Bloxzone to fully ditch the game before eventually trying to revive it later on. Bloxzone also had another...
What I don't understand about that, right, is since it was worked on by a different dev team inside of Bloxzone, how much revenue did Bloxzone as a whole really get from Anime Warriors? Because you have to pay the other developers and things of that nature. Wouldn't that be expensive? I don't know. Maybe the game made a lot more money than we realized and was able to actually help fund Anime Legends, but I don't think in the long run that is I don't know, I don't think it was viable.
Another moneymaker alongside this game, and that game, as you guys all know, was Anime Fighting Simulator. When 2022 came around, Anime Fighting Simulator would receive its last and final update. We know now that the reason Anime Fighting Simulator was discontinued was because Bloxzone put out a statement. They stated that the game was built on bad code, and this therefore made the game extremely difficult to continue working on, so they had to stop development completely, not to mention the dev costs as well. Now here's where I begin to speculate a little. Isn't it odd that right after Bloxzone decided to drop this final update back in 2022, they out of nowhere try to revive Anime Warriors 3 months later? Now none of this is really based off facts, but we can assume that around this time Bloxzone themselves were in a bit of development hell when it came to Anime Legends, which is why we heard almost no news.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been hearing people keep saying, oh, why do Roblox Anime YouTube? You know what? I'm not gonna drop that.
About the game throughout the year of 2022. They just kept trying to push Anime Warriors down our necks for some reason. Pause. But for real, no one actually really cared about Anime Warriors, not even the developers themselves, because even after the disaster that was the initial launch of Anime Warriors, they tried to add PvP to the new version of the game, and it still wasn't enough to keep the game afloat since the PvP was heavily unbalanced, since the game was based off a pay-to-win gacha system, which of course doesn't really work when you try to add PvP to a game like this. Of course, the second time Anime Warriors was abandoned by Bloxzone, but was it enough to continue working on Anime Legends? I don't think so, since we can assume that Anime Legends costed tons of money to fund, which is why Anime Warriors was continuously being brought up out of nowhere to try to get some extra funds for Anime Legends. Anime Fighting Simulator of course wasn't making enough money and was actually costing too much to continue updating, so who really knows if Anime Legends was even still being worked on at one point. Bloxzone, after Anime Warriors...
What I want to know about the Anime Legends sneaks that they were bringing out, right, was all those sneaks, like them running around opening the chest, why were they made? I don't get it, because obviously none of that material would be considered canon, so I just want to know why would they, like, was it just to keep the hype going, or...
Warriors died a second time, decided to come out with a statement about the state of Anime Legends, stating, and I quote, "With that being said, we're getting close to release, but we can confidently say that..."
And this was a while ago. October 22nd of 2022. I don't know why Techie didn't put out, this was put out a day. This is actually the same day of the video, a couple hours later, if we want to be honest, like literally. And I'm going to post the comparisons. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like nobody in the community gives me my flowers, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll move on from this.
The definitive release date will be announced in the next couple of months. This tweet was posted in October of 2022. We are in July of 2023 and we are just now getting another gameplay trailer for the game, and guess what? There is still no definitive release date.
and no real information on the game
after 2 years
other
of
than the
confusion.
trailer.
I'm just going to assume that this was a cop-out answer and trying to cover up for the fact that Anime Warriors was an obvious attempt to get Anime Legends back on its feet. Who knows if that attempt failed, but by the way Anime Legends is being handled, I don't know, you can answer that for yourself. Now fast forward to recently, Bloxzone did indeed drop a new gameplay trailer for Anime Legends, but this is not the same Anime Legends you saw in the teaser trailer 2 years ago, I can assure you. Even Bloxzone confirmed this themselves on Twitter shortly after the release of the trailer, and I quote, "It's also important to note that the game..."
I never saw this because my Twitter is blocked. We want to share a quick update on the ongoing development of Anime Legends. The progress we've made thus far is substantial and promising. However, we are still unable to offer a definitive release date for the game. As we previously emphasized, our primary goal is to ensure Anime Legends aligns with expectations and exceeds your expectations. To honor the commitment, we have decided to that an official release date will not be announced until we are confident that the game is 100% ready. The team's been working relentlessly to bring this project into fruition, and we are excited to offer you a glimpse of the progress in this brief gameplay teaser. It's also important to note that the game is presented today and is a complete revamp of the version showcased in 2021 trailer. Okay, so I mean, we knew
today is a complete revamp from the version showcased in the 2021 trailer. From this information, it is confirmed that this is a completely different version from what we've seen 2 years ago, meaning we have no idea what the game is truly going to look like.
The game does look like descaled, downscaled.
This game was definitely in development hell for probably a really long time before they decided to completely revamp the project due to complications. But we can assume if they came out with a true story,
yeah,
would probably damage their reputation horribly.
I don't think it would damage their reputation. I feel like the more honest, the more transparent they are of what went wrong with the original Anime Legends, cough cough, we kind of know what went wrong with it. The game essentially wasn't created but if they were transparent with what went wrong with the original, I feel like a lot of people will respect the transparency and understand, because it's like, okay, you're being transparent, you're putting, you know what I'm saying, you're being vulnerable, you're being transparent. And obviously the Roblox community is a bunch of trolls, a majority of them, but I feel like the people that actually want to play your game, other developers, content creators, things of that nature, would understand. It would be a headline for most people, but most people would still understand, okay, there was a lot of problems going on and we can sympathize with that, as long as we know you guys are still working on the game. And obviously they've been working on the game because they've been cooking up the second trailer. However, how much of that was actually working? How much of that was hiatus? How much of that was planning, etc.? Because obviously it's not the same game as it was before, and before it wasn't even a game, it was just trailers and cutscenes made to publicize. We all know the game was a base plate at a certain point, and probably was always a base plate, and the original trailer was just cooked up to show us something pretty. We all know this. We all know. You ain't gotta...
This Anime Legends has so many eyes on it, and Anime Warriors was a failure. Now let's look at the trailer they did recently. If we're going to be real here, the gameplay they showed still looks good, but is it as awe-inspiring as the first one? No, I don't think so. The reason is because we have been waiting for this game for forever, it seems like. And more games have been...
I don't know if I didn't speak about this, right?
The reason is...
But the red boxes and then showing the damage indicators of when the thing... I hate that. It's giving me Anime Warrior vibes, and let's hope gameplay isn't revolved around trash boss fights. I know I didn't mention that, but it's quite serious. I'm not gonna lie. This is not let's not make Anime Legends.
We have been waiting for this game for forever, it seems like. And more games have been releasing that look almost just as good as Anime Legends now, I'm not gonna lie. Not to take away from Anime Legends, but it still does look like Anime Legends is still going to have a decent storyline and some good atmospheres and animations that also still look good. It also seems, just based off the trailer, the enemy layouts seem to be based off the bandit beater system we so hate, but that's just speculation, so who really knows if the game is going to be a bandit beater or not. But it's still concerning for what we've seen from the trailer.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of things I'm peeping in this that I didn't peep in the trailer. Like the bandits just walking to the side and waiting for someone
who really
to come
knows
up
if the
that
game
they
is
can
going to be a
attack.
bandit beater or not, but it's still concerning for what we've seen from the trailer. The
Obviously,
bosses still
hopefully
look
not.
well developed, but one thing this trailer lacked was the big-tailed beast, so I really hope that they're still in the game. Which brings me to my next point. I really do wonder how much was actually taken out from the initial trailer that was 2 years ago and how much was kept in. But again, due to the lack of communication from Bloxzone, we have no idea what even happened to the first version of Anime
The
Legends,
original
and if the one
trailer
we're seeing is still
was never really a thing. It was a
going to be similar to what we
it was
saw
a green
2 years ago. The one
screen.
thing that was hype was
It
the
was a
final scene from
green
the trailer
screen.
where it was very cool. I'm not gonna lie,
joking.
all it needed was some voice acting, and honestly, it would have been pure cinema. But that's enough talking about this little teaser. Bloxzone has also announced a sequel to Anime Fighting Simulator, which is
And
gonna
we
be
don't
called
care.
Anime Fighting Simulator. And this will definitely bring in enough revenue to support all of Bloxzone's future projects in the future. So hopefully Anime Legends doesn't get revamped a third time. Again, I just think it's so weird how news of this game comes out so shortly after Anime Legends news. But again, it's just a conspiracy theory, a game theory.
Shut your
But Bloxzone said in their recent Twitter statement that they are going to be continuing to share news about the game to the community, but I wouldn't take their word on that since they practically disappeared on us for like 2 years and then dropped a random game out of nowhere and then abandoned that game as well. I don't know. They have so far showcased a book, which seems to be lore. I don't know. All in all, I just hope Anime Legends is a great game, and I hope Bloxzone.
Yeah, so on the most part, that's about it. Genuinely curious to see what Bloxzone does. No offense to Bloxzone, but you guys' marketing, especially for Anime Legends, is quite concerning. I just don't feel like it's being done well. Yes, the trailer was a step in the right direction, but the next teasers, sneak peeks, gameplay announcements in general that you guys bring out leading to Anime Legends official release is going to be important, and if not done right, will actually upset the community more than anything, you know. But yeah, wishing them good luck. Anime Legends is still probably one of the most anticipated game in Roblox history, by the way. And yeah, let's see if they sell the bag or not. Let me see y'all boys in the next one. Peace.